Yes, it is visible.
Okay, we waited enough for others. Let's get started. Uh, Today we are going to start with Azure storage durability or redundancy. You can hear both of these words for these concepts. LRS, ZRS, GRS, what is it? We are going to see. Before that, anyone has any questions, any doubts? Did you guys practice? I did share some questions on storage. Uh, I shared a task also. Did you guys practice on that? Anyone faced any problem? People who attended the session or watched the recording, do you guys have any questions, any doubts that you watched it, you tried it and still not able to understand? People who were not there, did not watch the video, please go ahead and watch the video first, and then if you have any question, feel free to ask. People who already tried, do you guys have any doubts, any questions?
Uh, Actually, Soil, I tried to create the container, but I am not able to upload the file in the container.
Okay, what error did you get?
Uh,
Are
I
you on
have
your
to check
laptop
again.
now?
No, actually, I am not on laptop now.
Okay. Fine, do check. Let me know what is the problem, what is the issue. I have told you guys several times, don't wait for me to ask if you are facing any problem. Feel free to simply capture the snapshot and share it in the group. Either I'll answer, someone else will answer, and with your question, others, it will help others also, right? Maybe they are also facing some problem. It will be a good learning for them. It's not possible for one person to face all the problems which you might face in 3 years of experience. But if you guys work collaboratively, person A is getting some error, he's showing he's putting the screenshot in the group. Person B is getting some other error. Person C is getting some other error. So you guys will know about two or three errors and then what to do about them, right? So please uh, make sure that you put your issues in the group so I can address them and others will also learn with them. Fine. Any other case? Anyone else who tried any other issue? Any other understanding issue which I have explained? You have watched the video and you're still not able to understand it. Okay, I'll take that as a no and we'll proceed then. Right. So today we are going to see, we have already seen access tier, right? Hot, cool, cold, archive. We know what is the significance of that. We know what is the rationale behind it. We know how does it work. We know why would it work. How to decide on what basis will we decide. We have seen all those things. Now the life cycle management is nothing but the automation of that work. Very simple. For example, if I have this account, storage account, under this storage account, if I have my containers, okay, under my container, if I have a blob. Now this blob, it is in hot tier. Maybe I'm using it very frequently, hence I've kept it in hot tier. Or maybe client doesn't know about it, right? So it's your job to let him know that if this is a file which is not being used frequently, maybe you're just going to use it once in a year, then keep it in cool drive or cold drive, right? Or maybe an archive drive will also work. This understanding you should have. Now, that is fine that you can do it manually, but client is saying that I want to do something automatically. Can you write me a script for this, a Python script or something? Yes, you can. Definitely, you can do that. But instead of doing that, why don't we use the native feature which we have, inbuilt feature which we have from Azure? Right? So let's have a look at that. We have been watching all these options. Under this, one of them is data management. Let me close all of this first. Under this, one of them is data management. Under data management, we have redundancy, which we are going to learn in some time. We have data protection. This we have already seen, right? Soft delete under data protection. We saw the practical also. Soft delete of blobs, etc. We have seen this. Object reflection. This is we are going to see this in ASR. Static website. Blob inventory, it's nothing. It's just it keeps the list of your inventory. You can add details also. You can add rules, etc. So this is basic. Static website, very basic feature where you can host a website on a storage account. It is useful. I'll show it to you. This one also, though very basic one, and you won't even hear it much in the interview because uh, no production website can be hosted on a storage account. But if you have only one pager website, like for example this one, my website, I don't use it much. It is there just for your information. I can host this for sure uh, on my storage account. Though this is not hosted on storage account. This is on, I'm doing it on GitHub Cloud. But here we can do that. So we're going to see that. But first of all, now we are looking at life cycle management. So if you want to enable this feature where you have a file under a container, you have a blob. Okay, specifically, we'll call it a blob because you should be able to understand when someone says blob. You should be able to use the same jargon. It is a file. I hope all of you understand by now. What is it? It's a picture. We have seen it now, right? So this file, this is a blob, and I have kept it in hot tier. But I'm not sure that how many people will use it, how many days will I be able to use it, and then uh, later I want to change the blob to if no one is accessing this, maybe I will put it. It could be some campaign, maybe, right? That initial 10 days, many people will use it. Then after 10 days, half of them will use it. Then after that 10 days, very few will use it, and after that, no one will be using it. Right? It could be anything. So that is my purpose, that I want to keep this file in hot tier for 10 days, then cool tier for 10 days. And number can be vague. I'm just putting any random number. It could be 20 days, 1 day, whatever you want. I want to keep it then 15 days in cold one, and then get deleted if no one is accessing it after. No one is accessing it maybe after 10 days, 10, 10, 10, 30, 40, whatever numbers I like, right? So if I do that, if I want to do that, yes, obviously I can write a Python script. Someone can do that. Some developer can do it for me. Someone who's good at Python script can do it for me, right? We can do that. However, we have an inbuilt feature from Azure. So we are going to see that. We are going to leverage that. Right? Okay, give me 1 minute. I'll just 1 minute, please. Okay. Someone was not able to join the session. I was helping them. Okay, fine. So we can do this using lifecycle management. So we simply have to go to that storage account. Under that storage account, we'll have to go to data management. Under data management, we have lifecycle management. Click on lifecycle management. If you already have anything existing, you'll see it here. I've deleted that so I can show it to you. Click on add rule. Give a name. Let's say I am naming it as temp campaign or temp offer 2 months. Could be any name, okay? That you don't have to worry about it. Apply the rules to all blobs in your storage account. I can do that for all blobs, or I can use it on limited blobs on filters. Now, filter can be all blobs which are starting with name 2 months offer, all blobs which are starting with name temp, all blobs which are starting with name January. It is up to you. But you'll have to make sure then you start those blobs with that name. As of now, let's apply it on all the rules or whichever. It is not going to change anything. If you choose this one, ultimately you get one column where you have to set a filter. If you apply on all, it gets applied on all. Now, what kind of blob do you want to cover? Blob or append blob? Now, this difference we have not seen because I didn't want to go that granular access, that granular detail. Append blob is nothing your hard disk. I hope you understand. when you call a hard disk in your virtual machine, ultimately that is also a disk, that is also a drive, that is also a data. It is being saved somewhere in a storage account, right? डिस्क आपको एक मिलती है, वो डिस्क के शेप में है, दैट इज फाइन. लिमिटेड जीबी मिल रहा है, दैट इज फाइन. यू कैन फॉर्मेट इट, दैट इज फाइन. बट अल्टीमेटली है क्या उस डिस्क में? इवन इफ इट इज ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम और डेटा डिस्क, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम डिस्क में भी क्या होता है? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? If you go on the granular level, keep narrowing it down, what do you have, guys, ultimately in operating system disk? Forget Azure. Tell me one thing. What do you
And
have in
system,
operating system disk? Sorry?
I mean system related data and all, and the executable file for OS and all everything.
Yes. It is OS related, but ultimately it is data. Now look at this. If I open my PC, these are my drives, right? So here I have some APK, some browsers, some drivers, general softwares, right? Office suite, operating systems, etc., etc. Right? This is what I have in my drive. And if I go to my C drive, which is my operating system, though it is an operating system drive, I can't delete it immediately. I can't simply replace it. There are many things, but ultimately, what it has, it also has folders. And if I go more granular, under again I have folders. If I again go ahead and check folders, more folders, ultimately DLL files, ultimately .exe files, right? These all the details which I'll be XML files. Ultimately, these are also files and data. ये सब भी blob ही है आपका. This is a blob, right? This is a file. Under this, these are blobs. These are files. ये सब कुछ भी जो फाइल है, आपका ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम भी फाइल से ही बनता है, right? So that also requires, if when you save something, though while creating a machine you don't have to decide whether that where storage account is, where to create the storage account. Azure is doing that at the back end, but that happens on the storage account only. You won't be able to see that storage account maybe, right? And if you want to create an OS disk manually, you can do that also. Okay, while we are covering this, let me cover that topic also. It's a good topic and sometimes you get a question also. So blobs are all the images, etc., whatever we upload. Append blobs are your hard disk, your virtual machine's hard disk. Those are your append blob. So do you think anyone would like to delete its virtual machine's hard disk after 15 days? Just the OS hard disk? I mean, when we go to virtual machine, we will have n number of options in virtual machine itself. We can shut down, we can do many things. So we will never ever want to do that with append blob. But still option is there. So we'll always go ahead with blobs. And what I was talking about, while you create when you're creating a machine, one minute guys, I'll delete this first. I said unnecessary occupying my space. So when I go here, create a virtual machine, and when we go to the disk part, here you must have seen that whenever you select, see whenever you do this, do you see an option to select lesser than 127 GB? Look at this. I mean, in Windows machine, okay, Linux, it will go to 30. Windows machine, you don't have an option to go below 127 GB. So the moment you take this 127 GB, no matter whether you're using it or you're not using it, right? You are paying for 127 GB. We have installed so many servers now. We have created so many machines. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed or not, but after creating the server, go ahead and check once whenever you get time. After creating the server, you hardly use 30 GB out of this. So you are unnecessarily paying for remaining 100 GB. Maybe you're just using 25 GB, right? But there is no option that you can go lower than this. So in case you want to do this, so what you'll have to do, this is called managed disk, by the way. The question in the interview will be, what is the difference between managed disk and unmanaged disk? Azure Disk Storage Encryption automatically encrypts your data stored on your Azure Managed Disk. Azure Managed Disk. What does it mean, the managed disk? Where system has assigned you a disk, where you did not have an option to decrease the size. This is a managed disk. What is an unmanaged disk? That you will go to a storage account. You will go over there, you create a disk, or you'll create a storage account of 30 GB, and that you can use here as an unmanaged disk. How to do it? Maybe we'll see, maybe we'll not see. It's not that important. No one is going to ask you for the practical. No one is going to ask you that, right? But theory questions, yes, it does come. So I had it here. Let me see if we have still have it here. So this unmanaged disk, which I'm talking about, this is your append blob. Uh, Let me give me 1 minute, guys. I definitely have somewhere. So it will be better that I show it to you, and you will be able to read it from there. Work around to resize the disk. Just give me some time. I'm looking at this. You need to manage instance, managed disk. Look at this. What is hot and cold archive storage, managed and unmanaged disk? This was asked in Kyoto. So question is definitely there. Do you know about managed and unmanaged disk, Sybase? And I have created a table, a good one. Somehow it's not able to find it now, but I'll share it with you later. Meanwhile, let me explain it to you. Here also, can you see VM managed disk? Fine, it's okay. Even if we are not finding it here, I'll share it with you later, but I'll explain it to you now. And it's a very easy concept. You won't have to worry about. Question can be, what is the difference between managed and unmanaged disk? Or do you understand managed and unmanaged disk? So very simple thing is your managed disk is where you create a virtual machine and Azure is assigning a disk to you where you do not have an option where you do not have an option to reduce the size of that operating system disk. Now, why am I not talking about data disk? Because data disk is always giving you the option, so we don't have to worry about it, right? But in operating system disk, here it is, managed versus unmanaged. So what is managed versus unmanaged disk? Managed disk is managed by Azure and unmanaged disk is managed by administrators, which are us. Managed disk helps you with the replication and scalability issue. Managed disk will have snapshot option, unlike unmanaged disk. What does it mean? That when you're using managed disk, you will have an option to take snapshot. But when you use unmanaged disk, it will not have an option. We can convert unmanaged disk to managed disk, but we cannot convert a managed disk to unmanaged disk. At least read the theory part, okay, for your interview answer, irrespective of the understanding or not, irrespective you try it or not. If you want, you can create an unmanaged disk, create an operating system using unmanaged disk. Try to take a snapshot. You will not be able to take a snapshot, but with normal OS, we have already seen that we have taken snapshot. Right? We can do that. With unmanaged disk, you will not be able to do it. So even if you do that, you don't do that. At least remember this answer. Theory part, make sure you remember this answer. No one is going to come and check whether you really have understanding or not if you can answer this. Managed disk is managed by Azure, and unmanaged disk is managed by us. Managed disk helps you with replication and scalability issue. Unmanaged disk is not good with that. Managed disk will have snapshot options. Unmanaged disk won't have. Uh, Unlike unmanaged disk, we can convert an unmanaged disk to managed disk. As in, managed disk cannot be converted back to unmanaged. Once I have this disk, I cannot convert it to unmanaged disk. But if I start creating a machine with managed disk, if I go to storage account and create an unmanaged disk, and if start creating a machine with unmanaged disk, later on I realize कि यार इसमें थोड़े पैसे तो बच गए, but no, it's not worth. There are many option features which I'm missing on. So I can convert an unmanaged disk to managed disk, but I can't convert a managed disk to unmanaged disk. What is the benefit? इतना सब करके क्यों होगा, हम लोग क्यों करेंगे? The only one benefit which I see is when you take a managed disk, you are bound to take 127 GB. But when you go for unmanaged disk, you can take 30 GB, you can take 20 GB, you can take 10 GB, you can take 40 GB, whatever you want. You can take a custom size for operating system disk. And when you create a managed disk, that managed disk, when you save it in a storage account, any storage account, that becomes your append blob. So under storage, containers, when I upload something in this container, look at this. Look at this. What is it? It's a block blob. And if I want, I can make it as a append blob. But what is it saying? Append blob? Upload.vhd files as blob. So append blob जो है आप use करोगे only when you are uploading some operating system data. Now, how will you get that VHD and why would you get that? Now, slowly we are going towards migration. So I'll start bringing those options also. Whenever we'll be talking about migration, it's not always online migration. It's not always smooth migration. कि हमने एक setup कर दिया, then धीरे धीरे machines migrate हो रही है. That is the best way. That is the way for all the machines. But there are machines जिनके साथ आपको काफी experiment भी करने पड़ेंगे, right? So when you have machines on your vCenter, VMware vCenter, or Microsoft Hyper-V. These are the companies or these are the products which help in virtualization. Now, I'm not explaining virtualization. We have done that long back in thoroughly. So when you have a virtualized machine, right? And if you want to migrate that machine and it is not happening with the regular way, there is an option called export the VHD. So you can export that VHD, .vhd file. What will it do? If I go here, I mean, not directly by right clicking, it doesn't happen like that. You'll require some sort of software for that. But if I right click here after installing that software, and then I get an option to convert that into VHD. I convert it to VHD, then what happens? I get a file, and that file is nothing but my operating system. जितना भी जीबी इसने यूटिलाइज किया उतने जीबी का एक फाइल बन जाएगा वो. नाउ out of 280 I have 170, which means approximately 110 GB I'm utilizing. So एक 110 GB का एक फाइल बन जाएगा, VHD फाइल, which I can upload here. Now my operating system has many softwares, huge applications like Visual Code, .NET, etc. Hence it has taken 110 GB. A normal operating system will hardly take 30 GB. So if I right click and export it as a VHD, I told you can't be done directly. You will require some software for that. After that is done, once I do that, I have a VHD file of 30 GB. Now using that VHD file, I can create a machine in Azure, and that will also be called migration because I got that machine from over there to here. Now about data, etc., we are going to see that later. Data as in whatever data disk were attached, we are going to see that later. So that is how you can get your operating system from on-prem or your Hyper-V or vSphere. This is how you can get it here. So when you're uploading that VHD file here, you will have to select your block as an append blob. So this is the difference between append blob and block blob. Now we also have one page blob, but we don't have to worry about it. And if you want more information, I'll share the table with you. Mostly you'll deal with block blob and append blob. Append blob, it's only for one thing, your VHD files, .vhd files, as in your C drives of your operating system. Apart from that, anything and everything will go under block blob. Simple to remember. Any doubts? Any questions, guys? Yes, no, maybe. Any doubts? Any questions? Okay, we'll proceed if you guys do not have any questions. Right. So because I saw it here, I thought I'll explain it to you. It's not that big of a topic. कभी आ भी जाता है, एक question skip भी हो गया. It's okay, चलता है. But why to do that when you have it in front of you? If they ask what is the difference, because unmanaged disk, it's rarely used. So even if you don't know about it, it will not be a surprise. Person people who have worked for 3 to 4 years genuinely, maybe they also didn't get a chance to work on unmanaged disk. It's not that suitable or very favorable or very famous or likable option. People do avoid that. Engineers will avoid that every time. You will see it only when some circumstances are there where you require some specific things, then only you will see it. Otherwise you will never see unmanaged disk. Managed disk, it's better, even cheaper, I would say. If I take a managed disk of 30 GB and unmanaged disk of 30 GB, managed disk will be cheaper for me. In every manner, managed disk is good. Apart from the space, under managed disk, I can't control that. Under unmanaged disk, I can do it. So if there is very specific business need, then only you will see it. Right? But still, we should not leave questions like this. We should know it. Now we have the question, we have the answer, we have the basic understanding. You don't even have to do the practical. If you answer only this much, managed disk wala itna answer. If you do this, it is good enough. I'm sure there will be no follow-up question because interviewer खुद भी ज्यादा use नहीं करते हैं उसको. So there will be no follow-up question. Okay. So let's come back to the life cycle management. So here we are going with only blobs. Apply it all the blobs which are in storage account. Now, should it apply only on base blob or should it apply on snapshot also and versions also? We have already seen what are the snapshot of a blob. What is a version of a blob? We have seen this in detail. So do you want to apply this lifecycle management on snapshot and version also? No, I'm not worried about snapshot and version. I'm just worried about the main file because in this file, I'm not enabling the version plus one thing because this is not very important file. बहुत ज्यादा important होगा उस पर lifecycle management लगेगा भी नहीं कभी. Right? People will be ready to pay, application owner, companies will be ready to pay, but they won't play with their data. This is basic, so I don't even want versioning, and I don't even want snapshot. It's okay, and if I want, I can keep it. It's up to me whether life cycle management should apply or not. Here we are not selecting whether snapshot feature should be there or not, or version feature should be there or not. What are we selecting here? If you have snapshot feature and version feature, then should lifecycle management apply to them or not? So as of now, I'm saying only apply to base blob. Click next. If blobs were created or last modified. So I'm saying if it was created 10 days ago or 15 days ago, then move it to cool tier. Now here I'm assuming that by default I'm creating it in hot tier. Then only it makes sense, right? And what does it say? If it was created more than 15 days ago, then move it to cool storage, right? If I just want based on that, but if I want कि कोई इसको एक्सेस कर रहा है कि वो चीज भी होनी चाहिए, लेट्स से मैंने बना तो दिया 15 दिन पहले, बट 2 दिन पहले किसी ने इसको एक्सेस किया था, राइट? तब भी ये मूव हो जाएगा, but I want नहीं, that should not be the case. So check this box then. So if anyone has made any changes, anything 2 days ago, then this will not apply. This will apply only when at a stretch 15 days कोई इसी को touch नहीं कर रहा है, then it will apply. If you select created, तो by default 15 days में हो ही जाएगा, respective कोई touch कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है. But if you select last modified, if someone is touching that file, someone is modifying that file, editing that file, right? So no one has touched that file in 14 days, but just on the 14th day, last hour, someone created that file. So it will count 15 days again from that moment, right? So I'll keep last 15 days from modified, then move it to cold storage. Add a condition. Then in cold storage, once it is moved to cool storage, again, the moment it was moved to cool storage, 15 days from there, then move it to cold storage. Either I can do this, or in cold storage also apply the same funda, that if someone is using the file or accessing the file, then start counting 15 days from there. So I'm keeping that. Then move it to cold. Then again from cold, because anyone has checked the file. Let's say here I'll just give 5 days. If anyone from cold, if no one has done that, so move it to archive, right? Skip blobs that have been rehydrated in last 7 days. You can also skip the file which you have rehydrated. कि अभी तो मैंने इसको archive से निकाला था, so skip those files, right? Now in archive, if no one in the archive बहुत सस्ता होता है, so I can bear some days. In archive, if no one is touching the file for 60 days, then delete the blob. This is my life cycle management of a blob. You can see the code view also of this one. Whatever we have written, if you want to write it in a code, this is how it looks. You can copy this code from here, download the code. You can apply it. Now, when you guys are creating, maybe I can share it with you. Go ahead and create it. इसको as it is use करना आपको सब कुछ, everything except for name. This will be your own name. And these dates you will change according to your base, and rest everything you can use same. So you can next time when you try to create a life cycle management, you don't want to add roles here, you can simply go to code और यहाँ पर उसको copy paste कर देना आप लोग इस rule को. If you simply go ahead here and I'm sharing it with you, simply copy paste. What things you'll have to change is name and these dates, whatever dates are suitable for you. Simple. That is your life cycle management. Very important. Not like managed and unmanaged disk. Managed and unmanaged disk. Uh, it's very rarely asked question, as I told you. But lifecycle management, if they have touched the storage concept, they will definitely ask you about lifecycle management, because this saves a lot of cost. Now we are just looking at one file, hence looks easy. And you think यार क्या ही फर्क पड़ रहा है, मैं 10 दिन बाद करूँ, manual कर लूँ. Imagine the files in terabyte, petabyte, and then hundreds of files. Then think how would you feel about paying them. We have already seen कि कितना difference हो जाता है एक hot से cool tier में जाने में, cool से cold में जाने में, archive में जाने में. So life cycle management, it's a very useful thing and frequently asked in interview question if they go to the storage segment. So any questions, any doubts, guys, do you have when it comes to life cycle management?
So, okay, so Sohel, for this storage life cycle management, it generally comes while uh, build sheet comes for any storage account creation, or it's as per
It
the
can come
policy
with that.
already.
It can come with that, and you can do it later also. Now, this was an existing storage account, right? I didn't do it while creating. So technically, both are possible. And normally also you get request while creating. Guys, I'm stopping this session. Let's join without any break. We are done with this 40 minutes. Let's join without any break. Same link.